as a private legal practitioner, Richard Niyama, to have a conversation around this issue. Counsel, good evening. Welcome to News Night.
Good evening, Mr. Speaker.
Well, good to have you. Let me also invite on board security consultant Nana Piausu. Nana, good evening and welcome to News Night.
Thank you, Speaker. Good evening.
Now, good to have you. Let me start from the legal point of view. I mean, looking at the decision the police have taken, let's start from the statement the Ghana Police Service have issued as far as this particular case is concerned, and then we can start a conversation on it. Can we please have the statement and then read the statement? I'm sure then we'll come to understand why the police have taken this decision. And so this is the statement. This is what the police is saying. Police statement on the arrest of Daniel Adomako, Prince Ofori, and two others. So you want to pardon me for saying it was Kwachi. It was rather Daniel Adomako. The Ghana Police Service, in collaboration with other security agencies, have arrested Mr. Daniel Adomako, known on social media as Sir Obama Pokwasi, earlier today. His arrest is part of ongoing intelligence-led operations by the police and other security agencies aimed at dismantling networks involved in the illegal possession and display of sophisticated weapons. He is assisting in investigations into some images and videos he circulated on social media depicting individuals openly brandishing these illegal acquired sophisticated weapons. Now, the third one, it says, these operations, which have been ongoing for several weeks, have led to the significant retrieval of a substantial number of illegal arms and ammunition. In a related development, 3 other persons, Prince Ofori, Yaira Abiu, and Emmanuel Kwache, are in the custody of the police, assisting ongoing investigations into cases of threat of death and publication of false news following the recent helicopter crash. The police service reiterates its unwavering commitment to ensuring the safety and security of all citizens by rooting out criminal elements and preventing the proliferation of illegal arms. We urge the public to continue providing credible information to assist us in these crucial operations. Further updates will be provided as investigations progress, strictly adhering to due process. So this is what the police have issued according to this particular case. Now, let's start from lawyer Richard Niyama. How does the law recognize what threats, verbal threats is?
Well, when we talk of threats, once you threaten to kill someone, the police can arrest you for investigation. In fact, the threat of death is a crime on its own. So once I say to you that, Mr. Speaker, if you are not careful, I will kill you, or I will destroy you, or I will harm you. Normally, such words are considered by the police to be threats. And if you make a report or a complaint to the police that someone has made such statements to you, usually the police will arrest the person. Then they can actually prosecute the person if they have evidence to show that indeed the person threatened to harm you or threatened to kill you or anything. So for those who are alleged to have threatened to kill the president, I believe the police are in order for arresting them. But to be honest with you, I have not personally listened to the video. If what you are saying is what they said in the video, that they wish it was rather the president, then in my humble opinion, I do not consider that to be a threat. Because by simply saying that you wish it was the president who was involved in the accident, I don't think that is a threat enough. That shows that you have a dislike for the president. and you wished something bad happened to him. But of course, the police are also men of security, and sometimes they take words differently from how we lawyers understand it. So if the police have interpreted that to mean that if you wish the president was the one involved in the accident, then it means you want to harm the president. Then certainly they are going to come after you.
And with what the police have mentioned in their statement, how I'm sure then one they would have to assess whether or not the people are in position or in that position to be able to carry out whatsoever, if indeed they consider it as a threat on the president and some other individuals.
Well, you see, sometimes the police prosecute not because they can actually get conviction, but they do so in order to bring deterrence and discipline in the system. And so I can give you an example. You remember some time ago, Mr. Oliver Kabomawo was being prosecuted for simply writing on Facebook that the army is used for not conducting a coup and that he himself is going to conduct the coup. The police interpreted that to mean that he wants to conduct a coup and they prosecuted him. As to whether they were going to get a conviction or not, I was not too sure. In fact, I was quite sure that there was no way they can get a conviction for such a crime. But you see, the mere prosecution alone will put fear in some people not to make a similar statement because someone will assess it and think that if I went and made a same statement and I was prosecuted, if I'm not fortunate and I don't get bail, I could be in cells until the case is over. Or even if I get bail, every month I'm going to court for about 3 years, 4 years. That alone is punishment for someone to decide that I will not make a statement. And so, to the extent that I don't believe that the words that the young people use are threats, I also believe that the police might want to put some deterrence in the system, and that is why they have taken time to begin the prosecution. Of course, they have every right to begin prosecuting anyone that they believe has committed an crime. And in this case, they are claiming that the person said they wish the president was involved in an accident. So that means they have threatened to kill the president. So they will prosecute. As to whether they are going to get conviction, that's one we need to see.
Now let me come to Nana Apia also. Once upon a time, police detective. How does the police take this to be a threat on one's life? And is there any evaluation that the police would have to do to really ascertain whether indeed whoever issued those words is in that position to carry out whatever threat he issued?
Thank you. Let me say good evening to counsel on the other side. Police, basically, when it comes to conducting criminal investigations into any allegation or suspected crime or anything that constitutes can be or there will be element of possible criminal, offenses related and all of that. We look at what we're told is to look at the mental states of the person and then the action that follows. That is the intent, whether the person has formed the intention and also the person after the intention has indeed gone ahead, execute whatever the intentions were. So I believe counsel will help us to understand what we call the actus reus and mens rea. So these are the things that we look at during investigations to establish indeed the person before opening his mouth or her mouth to say that he's going to undertake an exercise. Now, if you are looking at offense like in threats, whether threat of harm, threat of death, in that circumstances, it must be having been communicated direct that the person is expressing his intention to do something and willing to do something. So it means the person is and has planned to do what he's going to do or what he has said he's going to do. So in the course of your investigation, first thing you need to establish is indeed the person has communicated directly an action that has been informed or formed in his mind, and then it will come to bear practically as having been or is about to be executed. Then you can establish the elements, the facts that will constitute the crime. Yes, the mere fact that somebody opened his or her mouth to voice out any word that can be interpreted to mean threat of harm or threat of death on any person or pets or people, it means the person has committed a crime and you can be arrested and you'll be charged for threat of harm or threat of death. Either of these is considered to be some kind of a serious offense. And so the police basically will go into it and establish the element. Now, what counsel said that I agree with him is a wish doesn't constitute I will or the person expressing readiness to do undertaking an action. So if you say that somebody is wishing someone sick or is wishing him anything ill, does not translate into he or she saying that he's going to do it directly. But then police, we investigate broadly, and in the course of the investigation, the facts that we will adduce, taking your caution statement and asking questions, interrogating you, getting whatever information that may connect, and it will help us to establish the appropriate charge that has to be preferred against you before you are put before a lawful court of competent jurisdiction. All of these things will come to play. So, I listened to the video or something that he did on WhatsApp, and there was a commentary from some of them suggesting that the accident, they wish it was His Excellency the President. And some of the words I don't want to repeat, that I think that it was not in good taste. And the host subsequently, I chanced on a video where he came to apologize that some of the people said something that, in his opinion, were wrong. And so I believe that the police will want to, as counsel said, send some cautions into the system so people will be careful when they have the opportunity using their phones, recording audios, videos, and the stuff like that. So it's part of sanitizing the system. But then you are putting someone before court. You must also be careful that not just for the sake of putting the person before court, but then you have established facts of a case. As counsel said, either you will also get judgment in the course of your prosecution, or you just want to prosecute the person because the person has made some statement and all of that. Mind you, you are now taking somebody into custody, and his liberty, his right to life and everything could be restricted as a result of you taking the person to court. So if you don't prefer appropriate crime, offense, and charges against him, there's a possibility of you just going to, dump him in a court, or the court says he will remand you to police custody or prison custody and all of that. And at the end of the day, if you do not attain, judgment in favor of the prosecution, it means what you did didn't get any appropriate results. But there's a tangent where you want to sanitize the system. In that case, you can go about issue caution to people to be careful how they go about so kind of thing. So basically, the police have invited them. They've taken their caution statement, and I'm told they sent them to court today.
Yeah.
And as you rightly said, they were granted bail, but probably are not able to meet the conditions, so they will be kept in custody until they fulfill their condition and whatsoever. So these are the things that we look at. Basically, police, in the course of every investigation, the first thing you look out for is indeed if the person has said what it is attributed to him or her, and in the course of your interrogation, you put it to him to establish actus reus or the mensura before you know that indeed the person meant and he intends to carry out what he or she said is going to do. That will mean that he is in the position to commit the crime or is prepared to commit such crime.
Now, counsel, is it appropriate, so by law, for the police to want to just use someone to more or less put the fear of God into the people, if indeed it may not be possible for them to establish a proper ground for that person to be convicted by law?
In fact, the entire legal system, including the police and the court, is there to put fear in the citizens so that nobody can take the law into their own hands and do whatever they want.
Okay.
And so, if a policeman arrests you, it is not all the time that the police take people to court and they win. However, just for the fact that police can arrest you, they can detain you, and they can prosecute you alone, it's enough deterrence for some people not to commit crime. For some people also, even if they have been convicted and sentenced to go and suffer death, they will still go back and commit crime.
Yeah.
And so you see that we have different levels of people in the country. So even though it might look as if it is infringing on the rights of some people, that is how the legal system works. And until that person that we are alleging that his rights are being infringed upon, until that person goes to court for the court to declare that the arrest of the police was unlawful, we are entitled to presume that that arrest is lawful and whatever the police is doing is lawful.
Okay, now let's look at the other person, Sir Obama. He made a social media post, precisely Facebook, and then there was a display of an MG weapon, and he wrote just before the display of the weapon, MG3 in the hands of civilians under Yohonu. Should I please make an arrest on this?
Well, like I told you, I have not really appreciated the full facts, but it will be very strange for me that someone has seen something, the person is rather trying to report it to the police through social media, and that person is rather arrested.
Let me also put it out that there were two posts he made on that same day. The very one had to do with a video with some people wielding highly sophisticated weapons, and that video, I'm sure, pushed him to describe those weapons. I mean, the weapons the people were having at hand, and at a point they were firing, and he also described it on his social media page. It says thugs from Zugu in Tunanton today. Yohonu is an unmitigated disaster of an IGP. So in that video, you will see people having not less than 10 of them. I mean, serious weapons. Some of them MG3, as he mentioned, some of them to pump action, and then some of them more or less machine guns. So if you read from what the police posted or the statement they released, it had to do with the fact that he made a post about people brandishing sophisticated weapons. So this is what led to his arrest this morning.
It is still strange for me because if you read even the police statement themselves,
Yeah.
they are claiming that they arrested the gentleman to assist them with investigations. They have not told us that he's part of the people who were holding the
Yeah.
guns or he knows where they are.
Yeah.
If in fact, Sir Obama himself did not say he knows where the people are.
Sure.
What I suspect happened is that maybe he received the video from somewhere and he also shared it.
Yeah.
In this situation, I expect the police to rather go to the root and find out who took the video and arrest that person. If I have information and I offer the information to the police on social media and the police will come and arrest me, then very soon the police will not get intelligence. Because if I have an information and I know that if I put it out, I'm going to be arrested, then when I have the information, I'm going to sit on it and hide it from the police, which will be more dangerous to the country. So for me, with respect to Sir Obama, I respectfully believe that the police have erred because if they themselves are saying that he's only picked up to come and assist them with investigation, then I think he should have been treated cordial so that it will encourage more people who have information to assist the police with information. But if I have information and you have arrested me, you've gone to put me before the court and now giving me my bail conditions and so I have to spend time in cell, I don't think it is good for intelligence gathering. Now to the substance of the question. In this particular case, I do not see which law Obama is alleged to have broken. Let me also give the disclaimer that I have not seen the charge sheet that was presented in court.
Yeah.
Maybe if I knew the charge for which he was sent to court, then I would appreciate the issue better. But if it is just based on the statement that the police have brought up, then I believe they have got it wrong.
Nanapia, how deadly would such post be as far as national security is concerned?
To be, in my honest opinion, I think if this is how the Inspector General of Police and his commissioners will want to conduct activities in respect of citizens seeing something and raising concern by the use of social media and other stuff, then I am a bit, worried. And I might say I'm disappointed in the Inspector General of Police. Personally, I was one of the strongest advocates for him, given his experience, his stature, and his background. So I was one of the strongest advocates for him to be made the Inspector General of Police. And I was even at a point against the former IGP, Dr. George Akufu Dampare. And some of the commissioners at the police headquarters, they are aware of this. My disappointment will be the gentleman, Sir Obama, did not and have not claimed that he is part of the guys seen in the video brandishing the weapons. But rather it is clear on the 5th of August, I stand to be corrected, but I'm sure that is the date.
5th of August. 5th of August.
A gentleman who shared the video first. The video emanated from the northern region, and the gentleman who shared it first is from a northern region. He shared it on his Facebook and raised concerns about a potential chieftaincy conflict. Mm-hmm. And the fact that those who were seen in the video brandishing those sophisticated weapons were a threat. And so if measures were not taken immediately to curtail, then we're going to have a disaster on our hand as a nation. So this video went viral. A lot of people shared it. In fact, personally, I shared it and I raised concern. I said, this is unacceptable and must be condemned.
Did you also say it?
Yes, I can confirm authoritatively that even now, if you go to my Facebook page, I think on the same day I'm talking about, I shared it and I wrote that this is highly unacceptable
Then you must be
and must be
surprised that
condemned.
Sir Obama has been picked and you are also not picked, whilst the very first person
Of
who made
course, if
that
they
post has
invite
not been
me, I
picked.
will go and explain why I raised the concerns that if indeed these weapons are being brandished by people who are Ghanaians and they are civilians, then it is dangerous. So, in raising some of these concerns, what we seek to communicate out there is that I am sure the police and the national security pick intelligence from social media handles. And so the first gentleman who posted this from the northern region that we all got to see, then we raised concern, was purposefully for the attention of the state security officials so that they could investigate it and situate it in a proper context for investigation and possibly arrest those who were brandishing those sophisticated weapons, because it was a threat, and it's a threat for us as a nation when we see people, whether it is funeral, it is chieftaincy, any ceremony. No other person has the right to brandish AK-47 with a automatic form of ammunition, which in the video you could see that somebody was even
Firing,
discharging
yeah.
weapons or firing those weapons. So if somebody shared this and raised concern, for instance, if you go to my page, as I've said, I said this is unacceptable and it must be condemned by all Ghanaians, all well-meaning Ghanaians.
Could Sir Obama have been picked because during his post he mentioned the IGP's name and said he is an unmitigated disaster of an IGP?
Let me express my concerns here again that if you are a leader and people are critical about you and you resort to trying to find means to intimidate them and silence them, then I'm sorry. Probably President Mahama should even think of vacating his post as president. President Akufo-Addo would have vacated his post as president because Ghanaians will come hard at you.
Okay.
So if somebody writes you are unmitigated disaster of an IGP and you take offense of it and you want to put measures in place such that you will put a person in the form of trying to intimidate him, to put him to silence, then I am sorry, the IGP is getting it wrong.
Okay, thank you, Nana.
Because for me, I will say it as it must be said, because I stood my grounds, campaigned for him using my social media handle, advocating that Tete Yohonu should be made IGP because he had strong experience. I have a very strong belief in him, and I believe that given his experience and intelligence level, he was going to help us to make sure the country is safe and people will feel safe. What went wrong? Then all of a sudden, people are coming hard at you, and then you say that you want to put them in some tight corner so they couldn't talk. So I believe that it is not just because of the post they arrested Sir Obama. It is because he has been very critical on the IGP. And that is why I find it disappointing, because Dan Parry also received the same kind of criticism from some of us. And even when he was still lobbying to get the position again, we came hard at him that he should be changed. So the fact that you have been appointed as IGP and some section of Ghanaians feel that certain things are not working well and they criticize you, and then all you could do is to find ways to arrest them, intimidate them, to try to put them to silence. I am sorry.
That's unfortunate.
The IGP should really look at the whole thing again.
Okay. So thank you. Now let me take your final response. I'm talking about lawyer Richard Niyama. So can one see that the police is abusing their powers as far as this particular case is concerned? Hello, counsel. Unfortunately, it seems we have lost him. So finally, to you, Nanapia, clearly, if you are given a second chance, would you still be campaigning for Yohono with the current happenings within the security setups and some of the steps he has taken? But before I come to you, Nanapia, let me go back to Council Richard Niyama. Is the police abusing their powers as far as this particular case is concerned?
Well, if we are looking at the press statement that the police brought out, then there's no basis for the arrest of Sir Obama at all, unless there's something more that we have not seen. And like I told you, I have not seen the documents that they have filed in court. So if it is just based on the press statement, then I believe they have no reasonable cause to arrest Sir Obama. With respect to the lady and the gentleman who are alleged to have threatened to kill the president, well, I can agree with the police that to some extent they can be able to establish some level of threat against the president and the CEO of Goldport. In we say the opposite. So you can also agree with me that to the extent that the police are trying to do their work, sometimes they can go overboard. But when they go overboard, you must point it out to them. And I especially have always been encouraging people who are unlawfully arrested to see the police.
Okay.
But when you look at our Constitution, Article 14 and Article 19, it says that anyone who arrests someone unlawfully must be made to pay compensation to that person.
All right, thank you.
So sue them personally.
Thank you,
You can sue the officer who came to arrest you. Sometimes you can sue the IGP.
Okay.
When we begin to sue them and the court begin to exact damages from them for us, we begin to be careful when arresting without probable
cause.
All
right. Counsel, most grateful for your time on News Tonight. Thank you very much. Now, my very final question to you, Nanapia already asked. Given the chance, would you still root for Yohono as the IGP?
Well, unfortunately, even now, I have a strong reservation about some of the things he's doing. And I think he has to revise his look. He should develop the tough skin to accept criticism, and people will complain about some of his strategies and all of that. We did the same thing to his predecessors, and now he is in the office. We expect him to accept and make corrections and move on.
Okay.
If someone has committed a crime like a threat of harm or death and whatever, it is criminal. You can arrest the person. But when someone is also trying to, correct you or make sure he criticizes you, take the criticism in good faith, but don't criminalize the person and make sure that the person is arrested, intimidated.
All right.
Now, you know what is happening?
What is
One
happening?
second. It is being speculated that people who are trying to criticize the police and the IGP especially, all of them must be careful and must watch their back because the police will come after them. I don't think this is going to be a good legacy that Mr. Tete Yohono will want to leave behind.
All right. Thank you.
So, respect to him and his office. He should understand that the office will receive lots of backlash, criticism. When commendation needs to be given, some of us are there who support him, will give him that commendation.
Thank you.
And you will support him to succeed.
Thank you, Nana Usu, Nanapia Usu, security consultant, for your time on News Night this evening.
Thank you, Speaker.
Most grateful. We'll take a break. When we are back,